So my daughter introduced me to The Mentalist. It's a TV show about a psychic detective who solves crimes. On one show, he was called in to solve the murder of a famous scientist, only she wasn't dead yet. She'd been tricked into walking into a sealed room with something horribly toxic in the air. She only had a few hours left to live. Her only daughter was away at school, but through the miracles of Skype, she was there, face to face, with her dying mother. Her mother asked about school, the boyfriend, homework. Then she told her, "It's okay to be sad for a while, but go forth, live your life well." And then she said, "You are the best thing I have done." And I was struck by the enormity of those words and the truth. To Hans and Grace, you are the best thing I have done. Before I knew you, Hans, the initials A, D, H, and D were just that, initials. But at age 6, they took on a new meaning: attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Suddenly, there was a reason you couldn't sleep. You climbed the walls at the doctor's office and everywhere else. A reason that you were teased at school. A reason that every interaction with your sister ended in a fight. But I didn't like it. We resisted the diagnosis for 2 years, trying to figure out how to be better parents, to avoid the drugs and the labels. Maybe we could organize it away with rigid bedtimes, sticker charts, prizes for good behavior. Maybe counseling would help. Summer camp. In the end, we decided to give those little blue pills a try, and they worked most of the time. They never took it away. You had a better day at school, but life at home was rough. You hated your sister and blamed me for her existence. Homework, forget it. Regular bedtime, not a chance. Road trips, we couldn't even get to the swimming pool without a fight, much less a trip to Mount Rushmore. I had to let go of what I thought family life included, to let you find your way with an invisible disease that makes it hard to concentrate, hard to finish tests at school, hard to make friends. When I was little, my mother would fix a snack when I got home from school. Ritz crackers smeared with peanut butter with a marshmallow on top. Pop it under the broiler for just a minute and you have a hot, gooey treat. I fixed it for you, Hans, when you came home from kindergarten, but you didn't like it as much as I did, so I couldn't wait to introduce it to your little sister. The phone rang. It was a beautiful California day, and I was working on a book, day 2 of a new project. Grace had just started part-time daycare, and then the call. Somehow she had touched peanut butter, and her eyes swelled shut. I had to get her to the ER fast. She was 10 months old. They rushed us to the back immediately. We were seen by 2 doctors and at least 4 nurses. They listened to her chest, monitored her breathing. It was bad, but it would have been much worse if she'd actually eaten the peanut butter. One of the doctors pulled me aside. "She can never eat M&Ms. "What about the plain ones?" I said. "No, read the label. They make them on the same equipment. There might be peanut fragments, even in the plain ones." Hours later, they finally let us leave. Her face was still swollen. She looked like a battered child. I felt like a battered mom with no idea how to keep her safe in a world where peanuts suddenly lurked in every food. I never fixed that hot, gooey peanut butter snack. In the happy TV shows of my youth, a family faces adversity and they all pull together. We didn't. Life went from one Hans explosion to another, one traumatic car ride to another. With Grace, I was always on alert. Were there peanuts in that cookie? Get away from that peanut butter pine cone bird feeder craft. Hans blamed me for favoring her. She blamed me when I couldn't get him to stop teasing and poking her. Our life was not a happy TV show. One day I got a call from our youth pastor. He'd taken Hans shopping for the youth retreat. He was surprised that Hans read every food label. And when he asked why, Hans said, "I want to make sure Grace can eat everything." Hans, you are the best thing I've done. On Christmas Eve, our family leaves letters to Santa with the milk and cookies. Sometimes it's a, "Hope you like the cookies." Usually it's a plea for more presents. One year, I slipped down to read Grace's letter. After telling Santa where to put the presents under the tree, she said, "You can give more presents to Hans because I have 9 under the tree. He only has 6. Grace, you are the best thing I've done. There are social consequences for people with ADHD. Invitations can be few and far between. One weekend, Hans wanted to have a friend over, but he had a brother, and Hans debated whether to invite them both. Then he said, "I know what it's like to be left out." They both came. Hans, you are the best thing I've done. When a child has a life-threatening allergy, parents walk a fine line between caution and terror. We didn't want her to be afraid to live, but we had to teach her how to be safe, with a dash of humor thrown in. But I never knew what she was thinking until I proofed her essay for a leadership position at summer camp. She wrote, "My peanut allergy has taught me about fear. I'll never feel comfortable around peanuts, but that doesn't mean I make it my main focus. Sometimes things go wrong. I may have to spend hours in the ER, but I'd rather do that than miss out on life. And hey, those hospital bracelets are pretty fashionable." Grace, you are the best thing I have done. Hans went to college to follow his passion, computers. No small feat for a person with ADHD who struggles with school. He won't finish in 4 years, or 5, maybe 6, but he will finish. And when he does, he'll have more than a degree in computers. He'll have a degree in perseverance. It was a dark November night, and I didn't know where Grace was. Her cryptic text said she was helping her friend. What she didn't say was that they had packed up their soccer cleats to go coach a kids' team, sponsored by the Police Academy Leagues in Kansas City's rough Northeast. I've done a few things in my life. I've been married 30-plus years to a wonderful man. I was a freelance reporter for NPR. I helped found Academy Lafayette, a charter school. I raised millions for not-for-profit organizations. But Hans and Grace, you are the best things I have ever done.